This guy had a big week, huge week. He's Damian Lillard from my Portland Trailblazers. They're still waiting to find out who they're going to play next round as we have a Game 7 with the Nuggets and the San Antonio Spurs. Of course, had the big shot against Oklahoma City to send them packing, and the Portland Trailblazers guard joins us on the program. If somebody didn't see what happened this past week, how would you sum it up for them, Damian?
I would say it was a really intense week. You know, it was you go from emotional, like hard-fought road win to a day in between where it's like, man, all right, we don't want to go back to Oklahoma City. We need to get this win. You got to wait a whole day before. It's hard to sleep the night before. Then you get up, hard-fought game, just a wild finish, you know, down 15, come back, win, big shot. And then, you know, everything is just going crazy after that. So I would just say really intense week.
Take us into the huddle. So Coach gets ready for the final shot. What is said?
Jimbo, I think what was said, we were down 2 in our last time out. Paul George just hit a free throw line jumper. And in the huddle, Coach told me to break deep, you know, catch it in the backcourt, and then try to get a 2-for-1. I think it was like 38 or 39 seconds. And anytime we want to get a 2-for-1, we call it 33. Try to get a shot up by 33 seconds. And I sprinted in the backcourt. And that was the only thing he said. Just try to get a 2-for-1. And we didn't say if we was going to call a timeout or not, if we did score and get a stop or whatever. But usually I tell him not to call a timeout if we get the last shot and it's a tie game, because, you know, you don't want to get the other team a chance to set up anything, or you can't inbound the ball. So I made the layup to tie it up with like 32 seconds left. They came down, they missed, and we got the rebound. And I got the ball, and as I was dribbling it up, I didn't even look at the sideline. I was like, I just brought it up, and, you know, I looked, as I was bringing it up, I got to half court, and I knew I had a lot of time to kind of just set up, and I just saw Coach telling everybody, he was pushing them towards the baseline, like, just go flat, you know, and I was going ISO, which was what I'm sure everybody already had in mind on our team. But the last shot really wasn't even a conversation. It was more the play before that to get a quick 2 to try to tie it up and then get a stop.
I was wondering, though, at what point were you going to take the shot? Because Paul George is looking at the clock on his end, and he realizes that you're not going to drive. Now you guys are playing a little game of chess here, and I thought he timed it perfectly, but you took the little sidestep, and that created the separation there.
Yeah, he was in front of me, and I was looking at the clock, and the clock was going down, and there was like a lot of space between us. And I was like, I got to a spot. I dribbled over to the left a little bit, like towards the middle, and I was at a spot where I was like, it's deep, but I was comfortable right there if I could just raise up and just shoot the ball. And he was like a little bit out, and I was looking at the clock trying to see how long he would stay that far away from me. But then I was like, all right, he going to realize that I'm going to have to shoot a jumper, and I'm not going to drive if I wait too long. So I went between the legs to get him to move a little bit to my left. And I crossed over right to left between the legs, and he was on the left side of my body. And then right after I went between the legs, it was like 2 seconds left, and he was a little bit to my left. And I just sidestepped to the right, and I got a clear look at the rim. You know, he contested it pretty good, but he was to the left side of me. And so it was like it didn't really have an effect on the shot.
When did you know it was good?
It felt good leaving my hands, but, you know, I've missed a lot of shots that felt good leaving my hands. And I just saw the arc on the ball, and I saw where it was going, and I was like, man, that's going to be back rim or that's going in. So when it rattled in, I was like, man, this just happened again.
It's one thing to practice a shot, though, from that distance, Damian. It's another thing to practice with somebody on you. So how often do you practice the shot with somebody on you as opposed to just taking a 37-foot jumper?
Well, it's funny because, like, I usually practice it wide open. And, like, my trainer, sometimes like when we at the end of the workout, sometimes he'll catch it and he'll like foul me on those. Like I'll be shooting it and he'll literally like smack my arm sometimes. And sometimes I get a little irritated. Like there's no way I'm gonna make this shot with you like hitting my arm that hard because it's literally like a hard foul. And I hardly ever make those ones that he fouled me, but I'm just like I get irritated with it. And then sometimes he'll jump before I even get ready to shoot it, just to be there and like throw my rhythm off and make it uncomfortable. And it's not like we do it a million times, but he do it, and it's funny that he sometimes just randomly come out there and contest it and just foul me from that distance. So I think all of the stuff that we've drilled from that distance just makes it a little more comfortable.
He's the Blazers guard, Damian Lillard, joining us, Dan Patrick Show. Paul George called it a bad shot. To that you say what?
Yeah, I saw he said it was a bad shot. I mean, I think typically you would say it's a bad shot, but I mean that's what anybody would say. That hasn't been behind the scenes seeing what went into a shot like that, you know. So in that situation, if the shot was made on me, my response wouldn't be it was a bad shot. But I mean, some people think it was a bad shot, but you know, it turned out to be a good shot because it went in.
You know what your response should have been, or should be? Yeah, it was a bad shot. And then you pause, and then you go, for everyone else but me.
And Steph Curry, probably.
Yeah, that's true. But it feels like you became this overnight sensation. Like people who, I mean, we followed you. We know what you do. But it feels like the casual sports fan was like, God, did you see the shot by that guy the other night in Portland? It's almost like I liken it to Odell Beckham Jr.'s one-handed catch against the Cowboys. He had been a great player prior to that, but everybody saw that, and all of a sudden Odell Beckham Jr. became somebody that people were talking about. I think you're getting the Odell Beckham treatment right now.
Yeah, I don't know. I remember that moment because I knew who Odell Beckham was. I had known who he was since he was at LSU. And then after that, it just seemed like he just kind of just shot out there, you know, and became this big star. But I don't know if I compare it to that. I think it was a big play. It wasn't the first big shot that I made, but I think it's just the situation, you know, having 50 points, ending the series against a popular team with popular players. I guess it could be compared to that, but I don't because I just wasn't, I don't know. Maybe I missed out a little bit because I just wasn't all over, you know, the drama around it, just because I was like, man, the series over, I'm just rest up. You know, I kind of took a back seat a little bit.
But I'm curious about this. It seems like Russell Westbrook wants to engage. He wants to talk constantly. He loves that battle within the battle, where it feels like you pick your spots with that. Is that a fair assessment of your game? I know what his is, but is that what you try to do? You pick your spots?
I mean, I don't pick my spots with a battle. If it's a battle, I'm there for it the entire time. But it's just not going to be, to me, the battle is how can I make my team beat your team, you know? And that don't always mean I'm going to be the one that's looking like I'm doing what needs to be done, or I'm the one that's doing the scoring or doing the talking or all that. You know, I'm just trying to make sure I do what I'm supposed to do to make my team be successful. And that's what it is for me. But like I said earlier, now that the series is over, it was funny to me that people wanted to make it like such a negative thing between us, and it's not. We like, me and Russ are really cool, you know, like off the court. But when we get on the court, I don't expect anything else from him, and he doesn't expect anything else from me. You know, there's no dislike.
See, you can't do that. You got to keep this up, at least in our mind, that we think there's this great trash talk rivalry between you two. Yeah, you can't be playing nice here, Damian.
I'm not playing nice. I'm just telling you what the truth is. I don't really like on the court, like I talk trash to him and he talked trash to me, and he rocked the baby, and Dennis Schroeder tapped his wrist and all that stuff. Like, that's all trash talk and all that. That's not dislike, you know. And everybody was trying to turn it into us not liking each other and all that stuff when we're actually cool. So now that the series is over, I'm just making that clear, you know.
Okay.
Just like there's no issue.
But
we don't have a personal beef.
How good was that wave goodbye, though?
Yeah, it felt great. It was like I said after the game, man. It was just having the last word. You know, it was a lot of back and forth. It was physical. They was competing hard and we competed hard. So the fact that it ended that way, you know, I felt like it was only right to do that.
But when your teammates swallowed you up after making that shot, and then your head just kind of pops up and you look at the camera, and it was such a great picture. It was like, I don't know what the big deal is, you know? It almost looked like somebody photoshopped your head in there, in that, you know, mosh pit there. You're just like, what's the big deal here?
Yeah, it was funny, man, because anytime I get, like, swarmed like that, and you in the bottom of a mosh pit, I just went into survival mode. Like, I'm just trying to make sure I don't get smashed and I can breathe and I'm not on top of somebody. I just was like, I always go into a little baby panic when I'm in one of those. So I was trying to get myself out, and then I was like looking up, and I looked up, and the camera was right there, and it just kind of caught me just right there, and I kind of just nodded my head at the camera, but
it was awesome.
It just happened that way.
it was a meme waiting to happen. As soon as I saw your head pop up, I went, oh, boy, they're going to have fun with that.
Yeah, I knew right away.
By the way, did you see?
They showed me it after the game, and I was like, that's a meme for sure.
Charles Barkley picked you guys to win the West.
Yeah, I saw it.
Wait, what? You got a problem with that?
No, I don't have a problem with it. I just, you know, we just going to play. You know, I'm happy that he feels that way about us, but for us, our thing has always been to not pay attention to all that stuff and just go out there and play. Some people said we wouldn't make the playoffs for years, and every year they think we're going to be the odd team out for some reason, and we don't pay attention to it then. So now that somebody's saying, you know, something, speaking highly of us, we still don't change it. We just still do our work and go out there and try to get the job done. Now, if it actually happens, then, you know, me and Charles will talk then. But until then, we just got to keep doing what we're doing.
Yeah, but these guys are jumping on the bandwagon now, Damian. I was there at Weber State. I mean, I was there. I said, you know, it's like seven years from now, this guy's going to nail a 37-footer to beat a team in the playoffs. I mean, we did it, though, Damian. Yeah, we did. We did it. And, you know,
we did it.
Yeah, I called game when it left your hand. I turned the TV off before it went in. I didn't even need to. I'm like Steph Curry's brother. I'm Seth. I'm like, hey, I'm going to tell the bench what's going to happen, and then it happens.
Yeah, he told him. I saw him over there on video telling him.
Oh,
and then he turned back like I told you.
Hey, a lot of fun, and good luck. Congratulations on it, and good luck in the next round. We appreciate your time as always.
Thank you. Appreciate you having me.
Damian Lillard. You heard him say it. We did it. Yes, we did.
For more Dan Patrick Show, tune into Audience Channel 239 on DirecTV. Stream for free on VR Live or download the Dan Patrick Show app.